but obviously it's not working. And I think people come into New York City, thinking, okay, I'm going to change it. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to do it my way. Well, it doesn't work that way, Mike.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris. As always, we ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. We've got one of our favorites, one of our special guests, always getting a chance to catch up with Jeane Coakley from SNY, covers the New York Jets. Jeane, welcome back to Buffalo Plus.
Mike, I love joining your show. And you know what? I feel like even more closer to you because I'm in Plattsburgh right now.
That's right. You're in New York State, the real part of New York, as we like to say. Well, we're Western New York. You are in upstate.
I appreciate you saying that, Mike, because a lot of people, especially where I live now, will say, oh, you're going to Buffalo next week. You're going to upstate. No. We're going to Western New York.
Western
I'm
New
in upstate
York,
right
yes.
now.
You know the way it goes. There's Western, there's Central, there's Upstate. Of course, in the city, they think Upstate is Westchester, right? Because that's just the way it goes. So all that being taken care of, when we talked to you the last time, the Bills were 3-2. The Jets were 2-3. Big game in the city. Here we go. What happened to the Jets?
Well, first of all, remember the last time we talked, we were supposed to tape on Monday, and then the Jets fired Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a couple weeks later, I think they fired the GM.
Yep.
And now I don't know what's going on. They won a game since then. So the Jets have won a game since last time we've talked. The wheels fell off, Mike. I mean, it snowballed and it kept going and going and going. And I wish I knew exactly what happened because I continue to say this: the talent on this roster is unbelievable. But if you don't have a leader, if you don't have a good coach, if you don't have teammates that want to play together, then you just can't do it. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have a team, then it's just not going to work.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot. You know, there's people who want to dismiss culture. And I'm thinking, man, it's important, as you know, in every sport, but I think maybe more so in football than any other one. The Bills just played the Patriots, and they're having a lousy year. And it was freezing cold in Orchard Park. And that team went out there and played hard.
Hey, they beat the Jets.
Yeah, well, I don't know the motivation sometimes on individual guys and whatever, but they at least appeared to be a team that was like, all right, we may not be good, but we have this for each other, at least a little bit. I look at the Jets, there was an old phrase that used to be in baseball, 25, players, 25 cabs leaving a game. I look at the Jets and I think from the top, and the top right now is Aaron Rodgers. There doesn't appear to be a culture there of winning.
There isn't. And again, it's been a long time since the Jets have won. I mean, this is my 15th season. And I mean, everybody knows it. The Jets are the last major, sport team in America that hasn't been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's been 14 years. I mean, the last time they had a winning season, they were 10-6 and went to Buffalo, and Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 5 interceptions, and that was it. I don't even know. I don't think I was a mother then, and my oldest is 8. So there you go. But it's just, you have to know how to win. It's not as if the players aren't playing to win. Like, I hate when people are like, oh, there's out there. No, these guys do want to play. They do want to win. They don't know how to, and it's just stupid mistakes. I mean, they shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, whether it's offsides, whether it's, PI, whether it's just silly time management, clock management, every time you think something can't happen, it happens.
You mentioned they fired the coach, they fired the GM. And that's why I say Rodgers is the franchise now. I mean, he is the face.
Well, he was the franchise for the last 2 years. When he came, this was his team.
Okay, so last year, it was the game against the Bills, torn Achilles, terrible for the Jets. This has to be the most disappointing, frustrating, bad year the Jets could have had. Because last year was frustrating, but you lost the quarterback, the guy who was supposed to be the guy.
And Mike, their record was better last year.
Right. So it's whatever level, it has to be on Rodgers, right? You're the guy. Whatever he thought about the coach is gone. Whatever he thought about the GM's gone. All that stuff has happened, and he's out there with a team that's 4-11. How much of it is on him?
I think you can put a lot on him, and he even said this, and I don't know if it was mini camp. It was before the season started. He said, "Listen, of course I have a chip on my shoulder. Of course I want to go out there and prove everybody wrong because the team's success depends on how well I play. I'm not going to be around if I don't play well enough." Well, guess what, Aaron? You haven't played well enough. I mean, there was a lot of, I mean, listen, he just turned 41 in December. He's coming off a torn Achilles. Mike, I can't get out of bed. Sometimes my back hurts. I mean, come on. When you past 40, you're not the same as you were when you're in your 30s. He's coming off the torn Achilles. I think that took time to get going. He had a hamstring injury that I think was gruesome. That was a lot worse than what he's saying. His knees, his ankles. And I think when he started getting healthier midway through the season, you can kind of see him playing a little better. And then they got Devontae. Was Devontae here for the Bills?
No, they made that trade right after the Bills game.
Oh, okay.
Like
Okay.
the
Well,
day
off
after the game. Yeah, it was the day after the game. Yeah.
Okay. So now Devontae's here, the guy that he needed. And the two of them needed time to get used to each other because they hadn't played together in a while. And you saw glimmers and you saw a glimpse, and you're like, wow. Like at the Jacksonville game, like, wow, these two could be good. But that's against Jacksonville. Like when you get against a better defense, aka the Rams, last Sunday, they can't seem to put it together. And I think Rodgers expected to come in and make everything perfect because he is such a guy who wants everything his way. He works his butt off. He's unbelievably intelligent. He's smart. He knows the game. But unfortunately, he's not the same Aaron Rodgers when he was in his 30s.
Yeah.
And the guys who played with aren't the same guys he was when he was in his 30s. This is a new generation of players. This is a new generation of guys. This is, you got to kind to compromise. And I'm not sure how willing to compromise he is.
But it's not working. And I look at the roster and I think to myself, I don't think those guys want to play for him. I think he's created an atmosphere from the outside that looks like it's Aaron Rodgers. I'm on the Pat McAfee show every week. I'm talking about everything with the team. And then I'm also complaining about leaks coming out of the building. I mean, he is nonstop on the air. And everybody clips everything he says. And you cover the team. So you get him in these interviews, and then he turns around on national TV and he's talking about what's going on with the team. It doesn't, to me, look like it can lead to a culture of everybody's rowing in the same direction because our quarterback isn't one guy and we're 52. But he looks like he's Aaron Rodgers, and then everybody else has to fill in with him.
Well, I mean, obviously it's proven that it's not working. Whatever, no matter, it's not, obviously not all him. I mean, 100% of you can't blame it all on him, but obviously it's not working. And I think people come into New York City thinking, okay, I'm going to change it. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to do it my way. Well, it doesn't work that way, Mike. Like you got to be willing to compromise. And his Netflix show just came out, the Enigma. And listen, Aaron Rodgers is a hell of an athlete. I am not going to put that. And him battling back from that Achilles injury, like unbelievable. And the man can still throw the ball. Like the man can still play some ball. But he, like I said, he's not that same Aaron Rodgers he was before. And I think you have to accept that. And I think sometimes maybe, hey, listen, my handpiece hurt, my ankles hurt, my knees hurt. I might not be the 100%. I might not be the best guy to be doing this. Might not throw Tyrod Taylor in there. I don't know. Listen, I don't make that kind of money to make those decisions.
Right.
But again, you hear players talking after the game, and they never call anybody out by name. But it's like, well, I don't know. I wasn't part of the
That's Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
I mean,
you heard him. He said, I don't know. I mean, I haven't talked to Garrett Wilson. I don't know. But if you read between the lines a little bit, you can tell he's unhappy. And why wouldn't he? He had 3 targets up into that final drive. He's one of the most explosive weapons on that team.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the game plan was. I don't know.
So watching from afar, we're watching and I'm going, Garrett Wilson, right? Breece Hall. Like these are guys I'm expecting talented young players to be the core of the Jets. And we joke that they've become just a guy in this current atmosphere. They're just a guy. Like Garrett Wilson's good, but he's not getting the ball. Like you figure you're going to be forcing it to him or, forcing it, making him a focal point. Breece Hall, I know he's dealt with some stuff too, but these guys we thought were going to really ascend and that Rodgers would embrace them. And I mean, look, Devontae Adams has had a hell of a career, and those two together, and you can still see those moments. But I don't understand why that part for a guy like Rodgers who needs the help. You're right. I mean, he's still talented, but he needs the help. Isn't just relying on them more than he is.
I think that's literally the big question. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody really knows the answer to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I get Rodgers is at 499 touchdowns. Devontae has caught his 200th touchdown pass and his 400th touchdown pass. I get why he would want to get the ball to Devontae for his 500th, but at the same time, if there's guys open, and there's also 10 other guys on that. Wait, did I do my math right? No, 11, 9, 2,
Yeah.
whatever. There are also 9 other guys on the
Yeah.
field. And so, yeah, it would be awesome if Devontae got that 500th touchdown, but you're now trying to force it. And now you have all these other guys, and now you're left without points on the board.
Yeah. And they're leaving a lot of points. All right. So I want you to make the case for me. I'm Woody Johnson. I'm the owner of the Jets. I'm going to do things differently than him, but I'm going to ask you, there's a chance that Rodgers is gone. There's a chance that he stays. So what's the case for the Jets that the best thing is Aaron Rodgers back in 2025?
Well, who's going to replace it? Who's out there that's going to be better than Aaron Rodgers? I mean, what, you're going to go into the season with a rookie quarterback and a Tyrod Taylor that's going to sell? Tyrod Taylor isn't going to be healthy. I mean, 17 games. Aaron Rodgers, if you look at his numbers, Mike, it's crazy. It's like some of the best numbers that New Jersey Jets quarterback has put up in years. I mean, he is productive. He has put up decent numbers. Not decent, great numbers, to be honest with you. Again, the biggest question is, who are you going to get to replace that? Who are you going to get to replace that production and to get, that? Because Kirk Cousins, is he coming? Is Minnesota even going to let Sam Darnold walk?
Right.
And is Sam Darnold coming back to New York?
Wouldn't that be wild, right?
Yeah. Okay, there's crazier things that have happened in the Jetland, and I've covered it all, but there's no way in heck that's happening, Mike.
Yeah. Okay, so right. So that's the case in the sense of saying he's still talented, though they won more games without him last year. So I would say the other case of you need a coach, you need a GM. I'm thinking of the coaches around, and there's one guy I want to ask you about, but in coaches around. So let's just say Ben Johnson, young coach, Detroit Lions, has his pick of places. I don't think there's any way in the world that guy would want to go and start his Jets career with Aaron Rodgers. As talented as he is, and he's going to have his gold jacket, that's not the way a young, upcoming coach is going to want to start with a 41-year-old quarterback towards the end of his career. Wouldn't that be the case?
Yeah, 41 going on 42.
Yeah.
And it's not as if good things kind of follow Aaron. Aaron comes with a lot. Yeah. So I'm not sure I would want to be a young coach, first-time head coach, coming to New York, coming to the Jets, and having a quarterback who's probably older than Ben Johnson, if I had to guess.
Oh, yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. Who probably believes he's probably smarter than Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I think it would be very hard. I think it would be very difficult. And if I'm not sure that would necessarily work. So I think your best option is you get your coach in and the coach decides what happens.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it going, if you're bringing, so let's say
because maybe Ben Johnson is thinking to himself, you know what, I can use this. We'll be able to talk. We'll be able to work with this.
Yeah, I guess I would look at it and say, that's got to be the call. If you're bringing in, and let's use an example, because I know his name's been mentioned, is Mike Vrabel. Right? He's a guy who's coached, a guy who's won in this league, guy who's sitting out there and looks really good to a lot of teams right now. I don't know if Mike Vrabel would say, I can start out with this guy, I can win with him. But one way or the other, there is no coach walking in that door who's going to say, I don't really have a strong opinion about Aaron Rodgers, right? Yeah. It's a matter of what you're trying to build. And I'd say most coaches come to a situation and go, I want to build a culture. I want to build something at this place. I look at it and go, I don't know how you build around Aaron Rodgers, even with his talent, because talent is great, but That's why I wonder if the root is and is there an appetite for saying a bit of starting over again? And I know Jets have started over and saying to a coach, let's build from the beginning and maybe draft a quarterback or find another young quarterback and go that route as
I mean, they're
opposed
gonna
to just
have to they're obviously gonna have to find a young new quarterback. But at the same time, Mike, you can't rebuild. You got Garrett Wilson, you got Breece Hall, you got Jermaine Johnson, you got Quinnen Williams. Okay, so you lose probably CJ Mosley because of age, but Jamin Sherwood is sliding in that linebacker position.
yeah,
You've got pieces. I mean, you've got very talented. You got Braylon Allen, this little running back, this rookie running back who has showed great,
right.
and they're showing rookie contracts. You have Sauce Gardner still, you got these young guys. What are you gonna do? Like fires, like sell, like get rid of everybody and let's start. No, you got the pieces. You just are missing one key piece, which I feel like every year we talk, Mike, was it's like our 10th year doing this.
Yeah.
I'm saying to you, gotta get that quarterback. All we gotta do is find that quarterback. Um, but like we just talked about, who is that quarterback?
But when you think about quarterbacks around the league, there's big personalities, there's guys, who have earned that, right? And I just think Rodgers is so unique.
He is.
And he is, while he has the talent, I mean, you mentioned those other guys, those other players. I think many veteran players slide in and play. It's not going to be, somebody like Dak Prescott who just signed with Dallas, but I'm talking about who just come in, they play their position, they're really good. It's just the whole entity of Aaron Rodgers seems to be when you need a general manager and a head coach and to try to build this thing, I think it's going to be
And a
I think it's
culture
going to be
change, like
tough.
you said, and a culture change. I mean, you guys did it in Buffalo.
Yeah. And they did it. If you think about the way the Bills came in, they were a mess. And Rex Ryan. So
Yeah.
Rex was the coach. It was bad. Rex is gone. In comes Sean McDermott. They keep Tyrod Taylor for the year. They make the playoffs. And then they evaluated and said, yeah, this was fine. We broke the drought because at that time they had an 18-year drought of making the playoffs. But they said, this ain't going to work long term. Now, that's Tyrod Taylor, who is as agreeable, backup, spot starter guy you're going to have in the league. He's not a superstar like Aaron Rodgers. Then they went out and got Josh Allen. And a little bit of building. Next year, 2 years into it, he's in the playoffs, and he's been there ever since, and he's one of the best, and they have built that culture. I wonder for the Jets if you're saying, like ideally you would not be changing coaches once you brought Aaron Rodgers into the place.
Yeah,
And they're
but
going to end up in that spot.
yeah, but like you just said, you just need the Jets just have to get to the playoffs. They don't got to win a playoff game. They have to do what the Bills said. You just have to go to get to the playoffs. Get rid of that drought. Get rid of that stigma. Get rid of all that nonsense. And maybe it's I don't know. I don't know.
I just can't. Yeah, I don't
just don't know
see
how
the
they do
path
it.
with Rodgers. I think to myself like, you're going to win. Maybe you win another game. I don't know. We'll see how they do with the Bills. But you're going to end up maybe 4-13. 4-13.
Zach Wilson had a better record.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it going like, okay, so let's go to this. You got to find a head coach. You got to find a general manager. You may be making a change at the quarterback position. I would think to myself, the fan base. Has the fan base just turned on Aaron Rodgers, or is there still support for Aaron
They're
Rodgers?
still after the Jacksonville game. And they saw, the glimmer. Oh, okay. This is, but Jets fans, they're just, your heart just kind of breaks them a little bit. You're just like, after watching the 30 for 30 on the sack exchange,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like, oh my gosh, I even didn't realize even back then, hearts were ripped out.
Yeah.
Like you thought you had it. This was great. And then, oh, that mud bowl, the Miami game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But it's just, fans, it's split, to be honest with you. You see some like, all right, stop, we're done. You had your chance. This isn't working. Stop blaming everybody else. You're done. And then you have other fans like, what's the best option? Just run it back. Run it back with Devontae and Aaron. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. I think that the case for that has to be, hey, listen, if you could talk Mike Vrabel into coming in coaching,
I agree with you.
and he wanted Aaron Rodgers, the first thing I would do if I was Mike Vrabel and I'm coaching the Jets is tell Aaron, you're done on the McAfee show. We're going to let you do whatever you want. I just don't see how that works for an organization to have your quarterback speaking. And I know he's got everything going on in his career and his life, but you don't want that. Like, you need more of a unified voice in and out of the building. And I don't know. Do you think if a coach came to him, say it was a Mike Vrabel, and said, you can't do that anymore. We got to have that. We have to have that cohesion. We have to have everybody swimming in the same direction. You think he's going to stop doing that?
I don't know. I don't know him that well, to be honest with you. I mean, I've only sat down with him once. He's a fascinating person. I can see him like, yeah, no, I do what I want. I've been in this business long enough. I know what I'm doing. But I could also see him trying to play nice. I could also see him. I mean, does he even want to come back?
Well, that was what I was going to ask you.
I'm not sure. Do I think he wants to end his career like this? Absolutely not. Do I think he 100% wants to come back to the Jets? No. But at the same time, Mike, where's he going?
Yeah. I mean, I look at it and say,
he's got to go to a team that has the ability to win now.
Yes. So if you look around the league, if all of a sudden the 49ers said, we're not signing Brock Purdy and giving him $60 million.
He just bought his O-lineman how many cars?
Right.
He getting some money.
So you look at it and say, if there was a team like that you say, okay, and I don't know if there really is one, but that he could then go there and say, see, it wasn't me, it was the Jets, which is, a lot of times what guys are able to do. But that's the part I find fascinating. Like, there's times I watch and I listen and I go, he's going to be back and they're going to try this again with somebody else in the building. But like you said, he's going to be 42 years old. They got to figure out the head coach. So it's a lot going on. And the GM. And then are you picking the coach and then having him come up with the GM? Or, when the Bills made their hire, they hired Sean McDermott before Brandon Beane. Now, they had worked together in Carolina, and there was a lot of thought that could be the case. But they made that hire. They are both on the same level, both reporting to the owner. So that's the way it works in Buffalo. So they're on equal footing. It wasn't like Beane hired him or McDermott hired the GM, but that was definitely the case. But they have so many decisions to make, and they're coming into Buffalo on Sunday.
Yes.
Week 17 of the season.
Week 17.
Yeah. So what are we going to see in this game? What have you've seen this team have moments where they have played better? Guys haven't.
Well, wait, are you guys still playing for something? Can you guys?
Well, the Bills can still now. They as people are watching this, will know what the Chiefs have done. If the Chiefs were to win on Christmas Day, the Bills can't get the 1 seed anymore.
Okay.
If the Chiefs were to lose to the Steelers, then the Bills are still alive for the 1 seed. They're going to need another win and the Chiefs to lose. They still need a win to officially lock up the 2 seed, which is important for them because that's home field in the second round of the playoffs. So the Bills definitely still have something to play for, whether it's the Chiefs or not. So would you expect the Jets to come in and be geared up, ready
I
for
I do. I mean, they started on Sunday a 99-yard drive.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, like this is coming off of the Jacksonville. So you really are like, okay, they got it. But then again, but that was the last time they scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
They couldn't. I mean, you would have thought it's funny. I was at halftime or at third quarter, maybe I think it was like 9-9. I'm like, wait, the score's only 9-9?
Yeah.
How is that possible? I feel like, and they didn't punt the ball. They never punted the ball.
I saw that. So there's no punts.
So
but 9 points.
They just can't figure out. So I don't know. I think this team will come in ready to go. And I think they will play Buffalo tough. For the most part, they have the last couple of games.
Always tough games. Always close games.
But I wouldn't be surprised by the third and fourth quarter. They've run out they've shot themselves in the foot. Something happened, and then it just kind of unraveled. I personally would love to have Coach Ulbrich win another game. I think he was put in a terrible situation.
Yeah.
Great guy. Absolutely love him. He's such a great defensive coordinator. I would love for them to, and it's not as if they don't want to win. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that they've packed their bags and are all right, where's my golf club? No, they're still out there. Like, Quentin Williams was out there trying to get back. Wanted to play on Sunday, but his hammy just wasn't like these guys still want to play, and they're still we're playing for our names on our back. You know what they say, that they truly are.
Yeah. And you have to remember too, and it was even Rogers saying this, but it's the truth. Everybody's watching. So
Yeah,
whoever's playing, everybody wants to see. And I know a lot of GMs and coaches love to watch tape of players in games that, when I say don't matter for the playoffs. They aren't that. How is that guy playing in that situation? So, like I said, we just saw New England play hard in this game, and they had nothing to quote play for. And it will be interesting to see what happens with the Jets, because right now, when I'm sitting here with the Bills after all these years, I'm looking at New England. Maybe found their quarterback. That kid's not bad. He played
yeah,
pretty well the
yeah.
other night.
Beat the Jets.
Miami is Miami. They can't beat the Bills. They can say what they want. They cannot get past them. And eventually they're going to have to figure out what they're doing. And the Jets, who can't get out of their own way. For the Bills, the AFC East with Josh Allen and company is theirs still.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest path to the playoffs, is winning the division. And so, they love the dysfunction that they see in the division. I would tell you this. If you said to the Bills, Mike Vrabel's the next head coach of the Jets, they would be not happy, because I think Vrabel's the kind of guy that could turn things around for them. I think he's got that ability, but I don't know if that kind of guy is going to want to go there.
I mean, I think the Jets need a guy who's been a head coach before.
Yeah.
Or someone who understands the New York market, like an Aaron Glenn, who's played there and understands it. But I think they need a guy who's been a head coach before. I think I think they love Bravel. I think they would love for him to be there. Again, like you said, there's some pretty good job openings.
Right.
But think about it. There's always that allure. If you can win in New York, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, you win in New York, you are a god.
It is something, though, football-wise, the two teams are disasters.
Disasters.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
the
our
Jets
only
are
saving grace. When you look at the Giants, you're like, oh well.
Yeah, the Jets are
better
having
than the Giants.
Right. The Giants are gonna have the number one pick.
Yeah.
How about Aaron Rodgers goes to the Giants and stays in New York?
I know, right? I don't think Mara keeping him.
Yeah, right. That doesn't seem like
their type.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. So
No.
anyhow, well, listen, usually we talk about the whole roster, and you there is the talented guys. And I know Sauce, by the time this plays, maybe we know a little bit more. I know he had the hamstring.
Yeah.
We'll see if he plays. But there is a lot of talent on this roster, and they should have more than 4 wins. And it's been tough, but we'll see what happens, because the game's still important to the Bills coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, crazy. Like I said, last time I talked, the thing that's changed is we don't have a GM, and we got to win though.
Yeah, that's true. They got one. So no GM. No. By the way, Ulbricht's is not up for next head coach, right? There's not really any talk. Right. He's been the interim guy, like you said, putting a tough spot.
He was given a tough.
Yes.
I mean, what he's been through. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would have been able to survive.
It's going to be fascinating to see what happens with this team at the end of the year. Bunch of decisions.
Like we always say that.
Yeah. But this one really, because it's Rodgers came in when you had your coach and you had your GM.
Yeah.
They're gone. He's there. The new one, I mean, there's no other position like this in the NFL for the head coaching job. I mean, I guess, in Chicago, you're going to get Caleb Williams. Okay, that's the quarterback, right? That happens around. But
which I see Ben Johnson kind of going there personally.
Right. If you were Chicago and you could get him out of Detroit and over to Chicago, you would see that being the case. But they're going to have a lot of decisions to make. So anyhow, we always appreciate your insight onto what's going on with the dysfunctional Jets. Oh. Hey, do you make an appearance in? I have not seen the whole. I don't know if you made an appearance in.
No.
In the
Enigma?
Netflix show.
No, have you seen it?
I've seen parts of it. Yeah,
it's fascinating. I mean, he truly is he is an enigma. I mean, he truly is a fascinating.
I find him to be in some ways hilarious, just because I just have never seen anybody quite like him in the league. So we'll get him up. We'll get him up close and personal in Orchard Park coming up on Sunday. All right, Jeane. Well, let everybody know where they can find you. Same to you and to everybody there. I know on SNY people can find, because everybody gets that here, so they can see you there following the Jets, and then on social media we'll find you. And when we're talking about all these moves the Jets are going to make in the offseason.
All right. You're the best.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us again, Jeane Coakley. SNY covers the always fascinating New York Jets. And we thank all of you for being with us. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you the next time here on Buffalo Plus.